Hey you, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my channel, and today is the 6th day of my October drawing challenge, otherwise called ARTOBER. If you want to watch the previous videos, I've linked them down below and they will appear in a playlist. The way this works is that I have 4 different prompt lists that I want to work from each day. There is Witchtober, Drawtober, Swordtober, and my own list, which I randomize and pick one each day. Then I randomize the day's prompt, and then I've put forth the extra challenge to create a work with a limited palette via this set of palettes. I flip a coin, heads for set A, tails for set B, in order to pick which set I'm going to work with, and then I randomize another number to pick which palette I'm going to work with. Today I spun the wheel, and it landed on my own list, yet again. I randomized the day number and got day 21, which is the prompt map. I then flipped a coin and got heads for set A, and the random number I got was 27. This looks oddly like yesterday's set of colors. Like, kind of really close, but I think I like these ones better. They're a bit softer. I knew as soon as I got the prompt word that I was going to use this trick that I saw one time on TikTok, because D&D TikTok is amazing. Like, you should check it out. I've done it before, and as you can see on one of these really big sketchbooks is where I did it. Do you even call this a sketchbook at this point? I think they're more like sketch sheets. They're 18 by 24, 130 GSM, Strathmore, and they're really nice, but I'm honestly too terrified to draw on something this big. Let me know if I should though. I'll consider it after this month is over. The idea is that you'll use your dice to create an organic map for a campaign by throwing dice onto the paper and drawing in the pieces of a map according to what die landed where. D20s are cities, D12s are rivers, D10s are farms, D8s are forests, D6s are mountains, and D4s are lakes. You can change them around as you like or substitute them for other kinds of landmarks or important places, which I probably should have done. I probably should have switched out some like deserty things considering the color palette, but I wasn't really thinking of that. I was too distracted by the clicky-clacky math rocks, which I have a lot of. Not as many as some people, but, you know, a decent amount. I used mostly my cheaper sets in this video, though, because some of my more expensive ones need to be rolled in a dice tray to protect them. I have a set of opalite dice, which is basically just fancy man-made glass made to look like opals that could potentially shatter if I rolled them on harder surfaces or if they fell off the table. So yeah, didn't want to do that. Hasn't happened yet, and I'm not about to chance it. I think my most expensive dice are somewhere over $200, which I mean is pricey, but there are definitely dice that I want that are like way more expensive. I'm talking like $2,000, almost $3,000 kind of expensive. They're made out of like mammoth tusk. And I'm just saying that'd be freaking dope, okay? The dice set that I really want though are made from ancient Irish bogwood, and they're inlaid with bronze. They're like $800, so you know, a little bit cheaper. A little bit, but they're still expensive. Regardless, one day I will own them. I gotta. The dice gremlin inside me needs them. My most expensive set currently though is probably either the Bakoti Heartwood or the Bengal Aluminum. The latter of which you'll see on the screen. They're the bright shiny orange ones. They have an anodized finish, meaning they use a machine to make the metal turn pretty colors, basically. They're like mostly orange with specks of yellow and black, and aluminum is a lighter metal, so they're heavier than normal acrylic dice, but not as heavy as like some of my other more solid metal dice. Anyway, Arttober, not Dicetober. But now that I think about it, Dicetober sounds like a thing that should be a thing, and I don't know what that thing would entail, but it should be a thing, and I want that thing. Off track again, as per usual. As you may have seen by this point in the video, I kinda loosely traced around the dice I so artfully rolled onto the sketchbook. I took some creative liberty with where things went, but I did keep the elements to roughly where the dice were rolled. The mountains took so long to ink, and they were gonna end up looking like zigzags if I wasn't careful, but I guess from far away that doesn't really matter. To help break things up though, I did create a sort of cliffside along the right side of the mountain range, which I think looked pretty cool. And then I added some islands in the bigger lake to fill some of the empty space over that way. And overall, I think I did okay, considering I basically had to do what the dice said. When it came to colors, I realized there were no greens or blues or any map colors, really. Except for the really pale skin tone colors in the Faber-Castell Pit pens. Using those too much would smudge the ink, though, so I didn't want to use them a lot for this piece. Which meant that the water was going to be pink. Bright pink. It looks kind of silly on its own, but don't mind that. This entire palette is just orangey pinks, and there isn't a whole lot of difference between them, so I just tried my best. In my head, I was trying to come up with a story in which this map would make sense, or like take place. Like the lone mountain being the tallest was probably the epicenter of the story. There were side quests having to do with the cliffside forest, or the further city to the south, or the lakeside city and the islands, or maybe the farms were very competitive over different resources. Very D&D like DM-esque thoughts that I never really fleshed out because I'm not a DM, nor do I really want to be. I mean, I do, but I doubt I could come up with a bunch of interesting stuff and characters and ideas and plans to keep my players on track, especially since players notoriously do not stay on track. That's just a lot of anxiety that I don't want to deal with. And besides, once it came to like coloring the forest, the only thing on my brain was orange. Because not only am I a dice gremlin, I just really like orange. I think I've said this in like the previous video, but orange is just my favorite color. It's just so pretty and saturated and not red, but like close to red. And yeah. I don't know how else to explain it. I just like orange. Anyway, that's it for day 6 of my Arttober challenge. I think in the end, this color palette doesn't really work that well for map making. Not even for deserts, honestly. It's just kind of a little too pinky. But I had fun with it, and I like the way it turned out anyway. Maybe I'll give it to my DM for use in like a one-shot campaign or something. That'd be neat. Remember to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Bye bye!